Welcome to the second episode of the ROI Blueprint. Today we're meeting with Braydon Ross. You might know him as Mr. Airbnb.
Yep.
Braydon, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So it's pretty cool. We're actually sitting here before I hop into what I do. We're here in Amari, and this is the first time I've been into Uptown, and it's crazy the expansion we're seeing in Tulum. So the setting we're in here is actually a co-working space, and you guys, how many villas are done now?
Well, we are in phase two.
Phase two.
Yep, and we have 46 homes, and we have a total of 4 left. So
yeah, it's amazing. I stayed here for the first time. I know that was a bit of a brief intro aside from who I am, but I wanted to point that out. I'm super impressed with what Amari's done. And the team here has been excellent. So I'm Braydon Ross. I go by Mr. Airbnb. We just met, so I was giving her a little bit of a rundown. I'll try to keep this short for you guys in under a minute. So I started doing this almost 10 years ago. It was 2016. I bought my first condo in Calgary, Alberta. 2017, the Calgary Stampede rolled around, and I thought, this is a huge opportunity. I wanted to travel to Vegas, Mexico with my friend. Listed it, was like, I just made 3 times more than what a long-term renter will pay me. How do I do this without owning property? So then I went on Rent Faster, started calling owners. This is before rental arbitrage became a thing, and it worked. I started making money and doubling what I was actually paying in rent. Thought, how do I bring this to the internet? That was 2017 as well, and spent a good year and a half, worked with some names in the industry, was able to get in front of tens of millions of people around the world. I've taught thousands of people around the world how to do this, but more importantly, I wanted to do this bigger than, I would say, probably 99.9% of hosts. How do I put a hotel on Airbnb? Before it was a thing, 2019, listed my first hotel. Instead of 1 unit, I had 50 plus units with one client. I was bringing them more bookings, and everything was going great. Beyond that, I wanted to grow bigger and bigger, and actually brought me here to Mexico. As a kid, I started traveling, coming here every year, if not twice a year since 2009. So I've been here like 20, 30 times.
Okay.
And I'm 30 years old now. So my first time coming here is 14. So I fell in love. First time coming to Tulum, actually, there was nothing. It was an excursion. We were staying in the, basically like the Playa del Carmen resort zone.
What year was that?
That would have been, 2009, 2010. Okay. It was very early. There was nothing in Tulum.
Okay.
So to see how much it's exploded, I don't know how you don't fall in love with the place, but as an Airbnb guy, I had no idea at that time as a kid that I would be in this space. I just knew I wanted to travel, have impact on other people to do the same, but be a practitioner, not just somebody that sits behind how the teachers taught us in school and, hey, this is what you should do. And then after you get your degree, you'll make $40,000 a year, but then you got to pay off all that debt. I didn't want to take advice from those people because I didn't want to trade places with them. Not that their advice was bad, but I'm weary about who I take advice from, because if you're not in a position I want to be in, then I'm not going to devote my attention to that.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
So you had mentioned you see Tulum is blown up.
Yep.
A lot of people are coming here, investing their money, getting real estate, and they want to list for short-term rentals. Yeah. What advice would you give people to have success with Airbnb? Because everybody here is doing it now.
100%. So we were having a very critical conversation about this before the camera turned on. And I said, for me, what's important is the honesty. Because everybody's going to sell you a dream anywhere you go. Everything you do every day is a sales pitch, right? We're always being sold to. But by human nature, we have this sixth sense. You can always kind of detect it. You have to invest in Tulum with, I would say, 2 things in mind. Like, you're coming here because you love it, you want a vacation spot, and you're fine having a place that you can stay.
Yeah.
If your intent is to make better ROI, not financial advice either, so I don't want people, saying, hey, he told me to do this, or legal advice. But when looking at the data and being a guy a decade into this industry nearly, I can see that Tulum is saturated with studios, 1-bedrooms. There's almost 10,000 Airbnb listings today. You own a 3-bedroom. And if you have a manager, you're hiring a manager. This is where you really got to vet your managers and marketers too. If they have you on one channel, you want to be a social media star, you're not just posting on Instagram. You're on them all.
Right. You have to maximize all platforms.
So if you're not doing that and you hire these people to make sure you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
So you don't need to focus and become an expert. So what I think right now is Tulum is a fantastic place, but you're either buying because you want to make money and a return, and of course equity grows over time. But what I'm seeing is almost too much construction for the volume of Airbnbs that are here. So be wary about, studios, 1 bedrooms, even 2 bedrooms. If your intent is to make cash flow, if your intent is to make equity and have a place to stay over time, then that's fine.
Yeah.
Where you start to break away from the crowd, and this is backed by data on AirDNA, is your 3 bedrooms. So once you can sleep 8+ guests, you start to break away from the crowd. But when you're in that 4 or 5, ideally even 5 bedrooms, that's when you're starting to see your, that 10%, 5% of overall listings.
Right.
So,
and then you become, that's where you become a unique property.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have more visibility and less competition.
And this is not directed at any developers. I just see what I'm trying to do today. It's not just be a coach. It's not, like what I did before when I listed my first boutique hotel. COVID was crazy because it shut down a lot of hotels. They couldn't operate anymore.
And so that changed the way that you were listing your Airbnbs, because now you couldn't list on those channels.
Well, the hotels had to go down to 30% occupancy, some of them, right? If not close completely, even in Canada, they couldn't open, right? There was too many restrictions. So for a good year and a half, and this is the truth behind entrepreneurship, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Is it worth it? 100% when things pop. But I didn't even know if I was going to do Airbnb anymore because I didn't know if it even exists. Airbnb lost, I think it was like 20+% of their workforce. Tulum was the hot spot that people would travel to because the restrictions weren't there. And so it
was the only place that was open.
It blew it up.
Yeah.
And now it's growing like crazy. They got the airport here. I love Tulum personally. Like if I were to buy something, I'm doing it because I genuinely love to be here.
Yeah, because this place resonates with you.
Yeah. So what I'm doing now is, and even sitting down with Amari here and the team, and I've met the whole team. I really like what you guys have done here, and I could see the premium service level that you guys offer.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Having a property that offers a unique experience like white glove service, where it's a hotel 5-star luxury experience, is what really differentiates you from other properties. And you're right, having a good marketing team and then a good management team is a key component.
Yeah.
It's a must. And, like you said earlier, once you have 3 bedrooms into 5, 3 to 5 bedrooms, that's where you're gaining the most visibility.
Yeah, because you start to break away from the search.
Yeah.
Visibility.
Or on all platforms, not just Airbnb, but maximizing all platforms that are available to you.
100%.
I'm wondering, what are the biggest challenges that you face doing the short-term rentals with Airbnb?
Sure.
And
what are the biggest? So as a management company and helping people run these, it really is the hospitality business. And I can see Amari here has a big team. To be a high-touch, let's call it white glove service, it requires coordination on a lot of ends, and marketing allows you to scale because there's systems to set the pricing, and there's even AI that will help with guest communication. But when there's something wrong at 2 a.m, somebody's in Canada, at least this just happened literally yesterday. Somebody got their lockout happen with the code because the thing is frozen. It's -30.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So, here in Tulum, you need to do fumigation. You need your pool guy, the AC breaks, the plumber, the maintenance. It's the in-person side that is your biggest struggle. And if you're managing and you're a management company, and the thing is, you really got to vet your management company because anybody can start one. Anybody can say, I run Airbnbs. Right. And if they don't have a track record, and you truly are their first client, either they're giving you a really good deal, they're giving you a free trial, and they have to prove themselves.
Right.
People want to know, how do I get my first client in a service-based business? And this is across the board. Well, you got to offer your services for free, prove value, and then ask. You can't ask if you have nothing to prove that you can do what you say you can do. And so when you're vetting these companies, being with the biggest company doesn't mean they're going to give you the best service at all. And sometimes you're just a number.
Yeah, they could be spread thin and
They're
just
spread thin.
Yeah.
Right. And so you're just a number. You do not have that that concierge style service where they're responding to you directly in WhatsApp. Usually that's internationally, we'll use WhatsApp. Slack is what we use as an internal chat support for our team.
Okay.
But there's a lot of softwares that go into the back end of this. And to make it really simplified, the owner just simply wants to know, what am I making? When can I book my property? And how can I see this at any time?
Yeah.
Right. And so without that transparency, you're going to get companies that will say, and even developments that will say, you're going to make X amount of dollars because they want to sell their development to you. And you're stuck on the dream because you're here. And that's why I'm trying to say is like, you got to talk to people that really know their stuff. There's good lawyers and there's bad lawyers. There's good accountants, there's bad accountants.
Absolutely.
Right. And so that's what I bring to the industry. I'm from Canada. So bringing North America down here and people can see, and my audience can see, hey, you're down here, you're vetting these developments. And I have a team that I rely on, legal professionals, accountants, even the banking side of things. Funding is hard. There's barely any funding. Right. So talking about all these and really just giving it to them on a silver platter and going like, I think this is an okay deal.
Yeah.
Again, not financial advice. It's on you. Airbnb is an ever-changing industry. It's not like renting long-term. So for an investor, you need to vet your management company. And of course, ChatGPT can help you with a million questions at once. But realistically, the biggest company isn't always the best because you are sometimes just a number and they will only have you on one platform, let's say. And
the team has to be, it's critical. It's crucial. 100%. Having people that care. And they're on top of it, delivering what they say they're going to do. Yeah. Yes.
So, and that's the thing is
things happen. Yeah. Things
all the
happen
time
that you would never expect.
Yeah. So. And so when those things do happen, are you getting called for those things?
Yeah.
Right. And so that is a contending factor. The reason why you give up 25, 30, 35% or whatever it is that you're paying is so you don't have to deal with those issues. The only time you're involved is if something that needs your attention, it requires, hey, we need authorization, or this is broken and this isn't covered under air cover, which is Airbnb's coverage. So whenever you're buying, let's say you're spending $500,000 US, so that's for Canadian a lot. We're talking 750 Canadian with closing costs.
Yes.
It's a lot. So
our dollar is.
It's crazy. Yeah. You're making your US dollars, but you got to make sure, where's that money flowing? How are you getting paid? What happens if there's a withholding tax and you don't understand that you need to be paying IVA, for example? You're used to GST, or maybe you're from Texas and you pay 6% state tax to Texas. Like there's how the tourism here, even though the government is welcoming of it, they're making their money on the influx of tourists spending money here, as well as the high taxes on the tourist taxes. So with that said, not all investments are made equal. They're far from. Not all managers are made equal. So if your job is you want to make some money with Airbnb, have somebody that's willing to show you the critical before they show you the best.
Amazing. So a lot of people think that it's out of reach to buy into a 3-bedroom or a 5-bedroom. What advice or what alternative routes would you suggest?
Yeah, I think you see, like as a Canadian, we see the US dollar and we're like, oh my God, 500,000, 30% plus that, closing costs, etc. It becomes really expensive. And not everybody has $500,000 to $1 million in cash sitting around. However, you can get creative in a couple different ways. Number one, do you already own a home? Maybe you're from Vancouver, right? Yes. The home prices have skyrocketed over the years. I'm from Calgary originally. So people a lot of the time realize, oh, I have all this equity. However, what are you doing with that debt? Is it good debt that you can leverage? It's one of the key pillars to grow your wealth is to be able to use good debt. And so when you borrow from your property, you could look at doing a home equity line of credit as one way. Another way is you and some friends travel down here. You love it. We see it all the time. There's bachelor parties, bachelorettes. Like, we'd love to have one of these. So what if this investment can make us money? And as we spoke about, anything that can sleep more people, 3 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms, ideally 5 bedrooms. When you're in those villas, yes, you're in that, 7-figure range. However, some of the developers here will offer financing. They might say, hey, give us 20% down, and then we'll finance you until everything's built, if it's a build out. And you can make payments over the next 24 months. Or There's a development I'm actually helping with right now. These guys, they require 45%, but that's paid over 10 months. And they do 55% of the financing over 10 years at 6%.
Amazing.
It's very expensive here. Like the interest on a lot of these loans is 12 to 16% in that range. So as a Canadian, we're like, we can go to the bank and get money at 4%.
Right.
So what I'm saying is a couple friends come together, they syndicate, they buy.
That's amazing. There's options. You just have to get creative and make your money work for you.
100%. Money sitting in a piggy bank is dying to inflation.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest misconceptions is my home is my asset. There's a reason why when you look at becoming an accredited investor, they're going to look if you make a certain amount of income over the last 2 years, or do you have $1 million in assets? They don't include your home. Mm-hmm. Your primary residence is not included. The amount of interest you pay over that 25-year mortgage, plus all the maintenance and upkeep, that basically just cancels out all your equity. Not every time, but people think they're making all this money. Yes, it's a home, a place to stay in. I'm not saying don't do that. Mm-hmm. But you look at the wealthiest people in the world, they own nothing in their name, right? Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Kiyosaki talks about it. Right? They have companies. Everything is shielded. There's a corporate veil there. And then, beyond that, they're essentially renting where they live, mm-hmm. right? Have your businesses and the money work for you so you can live in a place. And if you need to move, you can move. I know it's not a home you own, but the home you bought, you don't own anyway.
Yeah.
You have a mortgage on it.
I think people's mentality is changing and they're starting to realize that true wealth is actually having freedom and flexibility.
It is. I think that's why people are here.
Yes.
Right? Exactly. Including myself. Like people are okay. We're younger, I would say. Like you're 27.
Yeah.
I'm 30. So as a millennial, and now we're seeing Gen Zs, mm-hmm. very creative, very techie. The cost of buying in Canada is astronomical. Vancouver for a studio or 1 bedroom in Cole Harbour, you're looking at $1 million.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Where are people getting that kind of cash when they're 21 years old? Sure, it exists. Is it worth it? To a lot of these people, they'd rather grab a backpack, put on some shorts, go to Tulum, spend $2,000 a month to rent, mm-hmm. save their cash, and be happier.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's true.
So, yeah.
That's what I came here.
Yeah, I think a lot of us can agree on that. So,
yeah. Well, thank you so much.
100%.
Where can the viewers find you?
Yeah, so pretty easy. My social media is Mr. Airbnb. Perfect. No spaces or periods, just MRAIRBNB. And if you see me on this podcast, just DM the word Amari because messages might get lost. And my team and I are happy to help.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you guys for watching.
Yep.
Like, subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment. Maybe you have some suggestions of what you guys want to know. We're going to pay attention. So go ahead and leave us a comment. Thank you.